did leave on time, Gary. I left at 25.
Get in, 25
I left on time. It was a diversion.
Jane was in Pitlochry 4 days ago.
We're going to press the buzzer.
She's just arrived now.
Who are we here to see, Gary?
Who are we here to see? We're here to see the Carlton Jug Band.
Why?
This is going to be interesting.
This is going to be very interesting.
But they might be sleeping because she's 4 days late.
Right, let's press the button.
Press the button.
There you go. I've not got my glasses.
Oh, still got her glasses. Oh, we're going to be in for a rare night here. Sorry we're late. Jane's just back from Pitlochry 4 days ago. I never knew this place existed. Did you?
I did do this place because I used to bring the boys here for drumming lessons. Down this stair, wait till I show you. The man played for Simple Minds.
Oh, really?
Yes, yes. He lives in the Philippines now here. Look at this, buddy. This is where I used to come on a Saturday afternoon.
Oh, doing the stairs in a darkened room. That was a part-time job she had then. But she's famous now.
Okay, listen to that music.
Oh, listen to music.
Oh, that'll be the hit parade.
Oh, look at that.
Right, come on, let's go. So, can you introduce yourselves first of all?
Aye.
Look how scared.
So, I'm Barny. That's without an E. It's like the dinosaur and the TV cakes that you get.
I have a story about this.
Oh, have you got a story about Barny?
I've always known him as Barny, right? And there was one night after a gig, we were dropping stuff off at the studio in the back door there. Right. So I was driving and we dropped stuff off at the back door, and Barny was getting picked up at the front by Lesley. So I drove round, and then the post clocked us coming out the lane and stopped us. He took me away into the post motor and says, "Who's that in the car with you?" I says, "Oh, that's Barny." Do you know? And then walks away and he comes back and says, "He's not called Barny." I was like, "Oh no, what?" And then I remembered somebody calling him Michael Carlton, and I thought, "Is it Michael? Michael Carlton?" Yeah, okay then.
So why do you get Barny?
Well, there's a story to that.
My brother's name's Fred. Fred Flintstone and Barny Rubble. And my son's name's Fred as well, but that's neither here nor there.
His dad's name's Fred. He's got three brothers called Fred.
Okay.
Three brothers called Fred.
It sounds a bit, I know.
There's a lot of stories in there.
One night I went to the Stand, you know, the comedy place, and with my son. So there was only 2 seats left down at the front, and it was Michael Redmond, you know, the Irish guy. he was the kind of comp here for the evening. So he comes out and he's going blah blah, you know. So you two down the front there, what's your names? I goes, well, my name's Barny, and this is my son Fred. And you seen his eyes going like, ding ding. I said, oh yeah, Barny and Fred. And see, all night he kept on it as, you know, about Barny and Fred, and ripped the piss right out of us. But it was brilliant. I went and thanked him at the end. It was so funny. He was thanking me for letting him.
And how was your involvement then?
Yeah,
into here?
well, I stayed in Rutherglen, and there was a friend who's a musician, so this was 20-something years ago, and
Cool,
he kept
right.
saying, there's a wee studio, you'd really love it, you should come along, you should come along. I was like, yeah, yeah. And then eventually I came along and started coming to, well, in fact, I came along, you were doing a Thursday night session, wasn't there? There was a lot of people that would come, and it was just all punters like us that would use the studio. But the jug band as such hadn't been born
Right.
yet. And then it was a year later actually, I went away travelling, and then I came back, away to find myself, one of them,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
away
Brazil,
to find, no, I
Right.
used to live in Brazil, but I came back from my travels and I thought, I need to go back to that wee studio, because I had thought, well, I need to do music. That
Yeah,
was what, that was
that's
my
it, that was
conclusion
it.
from my travels. I needed more music in my life, and I'll go back to that studio. And then the Thursday night thing was happening, and we just started, I got involved with the band, it was just really friendly bunch of guys. And our very first gig as a jug band was in, there used to be a wee pub in the corner just down,
That's trading
the
post.
Trading Post it was called.
That's right.
And it was just, must have been the new year of 2000, going into 2002 I think. But I always remembered Barny, because you know he's pretty tall, so it ended up a pretty rocking night. So that was the very
Pretty tall.
first the very first jug band tonight. And he ended up on the tables, but he was so tall on the tables, and the ceiling was low, and he was kind of stuck on his feet. So that's my memory of the
Too
very
much
first.
information.
So you guys are a couple?
Yeah.
Right, I never picked that up at the beginning.
Since the start of the jug band stuff, that's how it all
Right.
happened.
Wow.
Yeah.
Can we please get the romance story? Come on, just let's get that.
Barny can't remember.
Well, where to start?
That's
Yeah,
it.
so I started to come to the rehearsals.
When we were having wee sort of jams, and then kind of one thing led to another.
Yeah, well, we courted. I had been in a breakup, so it was like we're taking this slowly. So I made him paint the house. Not quite, but aye. So we had, we just came to a lot of the rehearsals for the, you know, we were,
it's just built up from there
and we just been together
ever since.
Ever
over
since.
20 something years now.
Yeah.
We've been together. Yeah.
So Barny,
Aye.
Lesley. Yep.
Well, Jeremiah's my band name, and there's
oh,
also a story about that as well. Barny called me Jeremiah because a way back I had a wee period of training to be a priest. So, and Barny said that means the Bible, that means Jeremiah. Of course.
no,
Jerry's my name, so.
so it's
Right.
Jerry, but listen, no, I'm not letting you go with that.
No.
So you had a wee period of training to be a priest.
Yeah.
So what happened?
I saw the light.
I saw you
woke up-
squeezing
I
that
woke
button,
up-
so
I woke up and realised that it might not be true, what they were telling me.
So how long did you study for?
For the age of 11 to 16, so just 5 years.
Oh.
And what was your journey then, Jerry, apart from, you know, finding God and saying goodbye again?
Losing God.
Did he bring you here?
No,
Are you still spiritual?
I'd say I was still spiritual. I was initiated as a bard a couple of years ago
Right,
in the Celtic consciousness.
right.
So I still have that interest in, but I find paganism, and I studied ecology,
Uh-huh.
and the more I studied ecology, the more I realised the pagans actually had the right idea. that we should actually tie into the seasons and the land and the place where we are and we're neighbours and it's all connected. So ecology kind of proves paganism. So yeah, so even though I was a scientist, there was still a spiritual element to it.
And where did music and when did that come in
Music's,
to life?
always
music,
there, right?
or?
Well, I'll tell you, in first year at school when I was training to be the priest, we went to normal school, and I got 100% in the music exam in the first year. So the priest says, right, would you like to learn piano or something like that? So I no bother. So Saturday I went for a piano lesson, and then Sunday I was told, you're playing the organ at the chapel. And I could, and my first song was Colours of Day,
Oh, I love
and
that
I knew what
song.
the first note
like
was,
that one.
so I just kept pressing that first note.
I love
And when they all
that.
started singing, I would follow them. And that's how I learned.
That's how you
That's how I
learned.
got
It's
into it.
self-taught.
And then after a few months, I had the left hand and
Wow.
just built
So
it
you
up
just
that way.
got
Oh, I love
Yeah.
it.
So I got flung in at the deep end pretty much there.
Aye.
You know.
And so Ian
Ian
with two eyes and Ian with one eye.
Ian with one eye, Ian Latta, for Dublin. I started off playing the bagpipes when I was 11-year-old, so for a tanner a week. And the Rutherglen Scouts, that's it. That's where it all started for me. Aye, and then later on, learned the guitar and stuff like that, and played in lots of bands and stuff, but never thought I'd be still doing it at this age, you know, 70.
I trained as an actor originally as well.
Ah, did you,
Queen
right?
Margaret.
Oh, that's where I went.
Right. Ashley Jensen was in my classes.
Ah, so she's just, so I left in 92.
We were the class of 89.
Ah, right, because I just
Just
worked with
missed each
Ashley.
other.
Yeah, when I came out in 92, we did a tour.
Mm-hmm.
And then you thought, no.
All the way through drama school, I was... Friends of mine ended up being in the charts and stuff like that, and I just kind of, I'd come from, because I'm originally from Dundee, so I'd been involved in the whole music scene in Dundee, and friends of mine had become the top 3 single and stuff, and it was at the time when anything that was Scottish was getting signed. So I nearly chucked drama school after second year, because I was really focused on getting in a band, getting a record deal, and I decided not to. I just stayed on my final year. I did one professional job, because I got my equity card in the days when you needed
You
an equity
needed an
card.
equity
Yeah.
card.
So I worked hard for my equity card between first and second year, in the summer of '87, I think, '87. And but by the time I left, Thatcher had become, the closed shop was no more, so there was no point in having an equity card anymore. I did one professional job, singing in a quintet thing, Stephen Sondheim's A Little Night Music. But then I got involved with bands after that, and
That was you.
That was
the
me.
route that you went.
that's the route I went, and I've been doing it ever since.
I got to know Gavin through, he was coming here,
Quarriers.
he was giving lessons to a girl that had kind of
Learning disability. Learning difficulties.
Yeah.
some needs.
Yeah.
Quarriers, yeah.
Aye, Ian actually came here years ago with Jamie Barnes and Cochise, the famous Jamie Barnes.
Oh,
And that's how we all kind of met through here, really, didn't we?
Aye, yeah.
Gareth as well, because he was doing the sound, as a sound engineer.
Yeah,
Right.
because it's the studio engineer.
so
So
you're
you're the
in
studio
there.
engineer, Gareth, in there, and then you met up with everybody. And
Well, we started him off as a sound guy, because for years we never had a sound guy, and we'd always have a wee go at the PA ourselves, so
Right,
basically mud.
Which usually meant loads of fighting in the band. The band were like...
And then eventually we thought, we'll have a sound guy as a member
So
of
they
the
all just
band.
fought with me after that.
Yeah.
Said amongst themselves.
But you can play guitar as well.
I was at the guitarist, Matt and Chippy, before they both left and asked me for tunes.
They left, and then this
They're like,
position
"Well, I
came up
guess
for you.
You're still there, so we'll get
In
you
you
to
go.
give it a wee shot." And
But we never knew that he could play so well. He'd been sitting doing
Oh, I
the sound
see.
for how many years? 4 or 5?
at least 3 or something.
3. Right. And then when the guitarist left, we're like, what are we going to do? What are
Yeah.
we going to do? And then Barny says, Gareth plays guitar. I was like, Gareth plays guitar? Plays really good country guitar. And he'd been sitting doing the sound all these years, and like, Yeah.
And is it core of the band, all from sort of Carlton? Is that how it started?
We've all met.
It's like the
Carlton.
house band
Right.
for the studio.
Well, because it's Carlton Studios and
Barny owns Carlton Studios, so we all kind of, we've all met for different reasons.
Right,
You know,
right.
coming here for rehearsals or,
Yeah.
to just, or just playing with the band.
So this was the core for you all to meet, to come
Yeah.
together. It's how you
Yeah,
all
yeah,
met.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
through here.
Yeah.
It's like
It's like a community
it's,
centre.
yeah, it's, I was going to say,
Ah,
it's
yeah,
more,
yeah.
it's more than just a rehearsal complex. It's more of a
Aye.
community
Uh-huh.
project. It really is. It's just different to other rehearsal rooms in the city.
You've got the trust and the care for each other. How do you put up with them all?
It's years ago when there was a lot more drinking, etc. going on, it was hard. It was hard. Oh my God. Yeah.
drinking.
Yes.
Yeah, it was
Did you
just...
feel a bit like the mammy? Because I felt like that in Still Game. It was all naughty boys. And me trying to hold everybody together.
Yeah, it just was, it was
Well,
hard going being
By
the
default,
only woman.
Lesley is we're organised member of the band.
Yeah, it was hard work being the only woman for years. But yeah, as it's got a bit more.
Have they quietened down?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I think people have matured a little bit.
Oh, who wants to do
Oh
that?
well. But
We've done all the Spinal Tap things.
Yeah.
yeah, come out the other end. So,
And I think that helps you actually just being, it helps you enjoy the rehearsal a lot more than it when you're compos mentis. You know, I mean, when you're mad with it, you think
You think
this
you're
is
dead
brilliant.
brilliant. Yeah.
And then you're no really, and
yeah,
then
everybody's playing at different tempos, etc.
Depends what they're on.
No.
for years and that when we used to rehearse like the Saturday night, so I'd get away around the off sales here and get a quarter bottle of whiskey, and I'd probably tanned it before I even get back here, and I'll be back for another one.
Before my time as well.
And gigging, you know,
He's a missed out, eh?
so when you're gigging, people would get to know Barny likes a wee whiskey, right? So before you know it, there's about 6 whiskies in front of
Lined
you,
up.
and you're
Okay,
gigging.
lined
So
up.
you're kind of
Obliged.
obliged.
I felt obliged.
Obliged.
You felt
So you
obliged.
rattle them off, you rattle them all, and you're fine when you're sat down, and then you try to stand up and you go, all goes wonky
But Barney, when did you set this up then?
with the studio.
Uh-huh.
That was 1990,
1990.
and there was 3 of us involved, and we set out as a cooperative.
Mm-hmm.
But so there was the other 2 guys, Mick Price and Jake McCarry. They played in a band, James King and the Lone Wolves. They were signed to Postcard Records, you know, at the time. And Mick left after about 10 years, and Jake just retired about 3 months ago. So it's just me.
And
then.
you're still here.
Aye. I don't know what else I would do, to be honest. I'm going to start greeting in a minute.
So you have not just got stories about the band, Barney. You've got stories about this building, right? So, like buildings have energy. Buildings hold stories. You'll have some crackers.
Or ghostly ones.
Well, no, anything ghostly or because it is quite spooky when you come in that bit, or fights or bands that have broken up, or somebody's been caught pumping somebody else. Have you ever seen a ghost, Barney?
No, but there's been some strange things in here, actually, things moving. And down in room 4, down the stairs, I've had a few people come in and go, oh, there's a vibe in here. There's a bit of a vibe in here. You go, aye, I know. And you know, we used to be in here, well, working till 12 at night, and sometimes a lot longer, and you're talking about whatever, you know, mad parties and things. So you'd be up here, you know, 12 o'clock the next day and what have you. So you all through the night, and you might be here yourself, walking up and down, and it's kind of eerie. And one night I was down the stairs and I heard this music, I thought, nobody in this building except me, right? And I was actually in the toilet at the time, right? So I thought, I need to go and check this out. So I went right through the building from that end right to the front. The music, I could hear it all the way, right? There was nobody here, nothing at all, right? I went out the back to see if there was somebody else outside playing music, nothing. That was it. There was a clairvoyant from, over at Sloan's Market.
Yes.
She came in here one day, right? She's all dressed in black. She got the red rose in the hair and all that. You see, before I knew what she was, you see, she's a clairvoyant. There was a big long black sweeping robe, and she came in and she was like, whoa. Getting a vibe here. Getting a vibe. And you're like, oh yeah, no. Another time, Phil Ferns, I don't know if you know that bloke. Phil Ferns, he took to do hiring bands and stuff in the Glasgow area. And he was the same, he was kind of psychic. And he was sat down in the cafe one day, and I was talking to him and going, blah blah, just usual things. I'm fine, Phil, aye. And he was talking away, then he goes, oh. So like, are you alright, Phil? He said, aye. About a few minutes later as well, oh. I said, Phil, what's going on? He says, there it is again, there it is again. And he was convinced there was some moving about. Lesley's cousin, Lynn, she worked in the cafe for a while. She used to come through from Edinburgh and work in the cafe, and she swore that she stood at the till, right, and she looked up and she seen a guy stood in front of her with coachman's livery on, right? And of course, down in the basement, that would be the servants' quarters, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
Oh. See, just talking about the cafe, because the court's there,
Yeah.
so you get a lot of people that are on their way to court, as well as the judges and the lawyers and the rest of them. But remember the guy that ended up heckling people? Don't go in there!
Oh, aye.
What was it? Do you remember that one?
He came in and he got a rolling sausage, right? A rolling square sausage, right? And so we dropped the rolling sausage, and next thing I hear is this coughing, and he stood there what the? Good. I says, you alright? He said, that sausage is too thick. It's too thick. I'm choking on it. What are you going to have for day about it? I said, look mate. I said, it's down to you. I mean, you're chewing it. Right? And then his pal jumps in and is getting a bit tasty with his. I said, look here mate. I said, leave the now or I'm going to phone the cops. I phone the effing cops, will you? Anyway, one of them could have seen the light and he backed off. So they scuttled up the stairs, right? And I'm no kidding. See, for about, I don't know, 15 minutes, half an hour, they were stood up there going, people going back on, don't fucking go in here, don't fucking go in there, sausages are fucking rotten.
They're too thick.
Oh, you call chewing the fan.
Boom, boom.
You even got a symbol in your mind, Gavin.
Oh. And also, like with here, funding wise, is this how's this all? How's it ran? How the affordability, the costing of it? How's it? Explain to me how it's all done. Do you get funding?
No.
Nothing.
No.
There's no from the councils and from the
No.
lots.
No funding.
There's nothing for musicians
Barny just works 24/7 basically.
to keep this going.
Yeah.
Which
There was
is
student-
sad. Is it,
Yeah, well,
when you think
yeah.
who's came through the door, as you're saying, you're bringing students here and disabled kids,
Yeah.
and this is an
Well,
opportunity
that's
for
a
them
kind
to
of
come in
charitable
here.
thing that Gavin does, you know, and
Because our funding stopped, but I just kept it going, or keep it going, as a do it voluntary, because unfortunately these days, sometimes the only way to keep things going is to just do it that way.
So you just really rely on musicians coming and renting the space and,
Well,
and
aye.
the studios from you?
Yeah.
I mean, it's cheap and cheerful
Uh-huh.
in here, and I mean, there's other studios in Glasgow that are more high tech and all the rest of it.
I've been a character like this.
Exactly what I was
When,
saying, yeah.
when we started out, you know, we were kind of for a few years kind of high spec, but actually after a while, you kind of you can't keep up with it unless
No,
you
it's
get a
changing
lot
all the
of
time.
backing
Yeah.
and stuff.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's like Gavin says it. I mean, I come to my work every day, and it's no. Lesley keeps saying, you know, you can't keep working like that. You can't keep, but it's no work. It isn't work. I mean, how can I call this work? Like the
I
new?
keep saying that
You
we
know-
need a holiday.
How
we
dare
need a
you,
holiday.
But
And he says life's a wee holiday.
Ah.
No, but I need a real holiday.
It is, and you know, like becoming we have a session and all that. You go away feeling good about yourself, don't you? And
Yeah.
you get a vibe. And
You've said that a few times.
just generally speaking, I mean, Glasgow got a great music scene. It's brilliant.
Put some money in your sack. Oh, red and brown. It'll throw you on the ground. Oh, sweet mama, daddy's got their deep and blues. Oh, sweet mama, daddy's got their deep and blues. One more time. Oh, sweet mama, daddy's got their deep and blues.
There's
That's
a great
brilliant.
story that you might know this story, and it was at the pavilion the night that Elvis died. Do you know this story? So Andy Cameron and so Andy Cameron was playing. They were all backstage. They were all in the dressing room, and it was Sydney Devine that was performing, right? And everybody, country singing, Lesley?
Oh yeah.
And everybody was sitting like that. Oh, it's terrible about the king. And then, and this is a true story allegedly, and Sydney Devine's manager turned to everyone in the dressing room and said, I know it's terrible about the king and that, but I think this could be the breakthrough Sydney's been waiting for. And that's a true story.